Has he followed up?
You know, I can't speak about my conversations with him.
Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. Did you guys just hear that? It sounds to me that Michael Saylor, within the CNBC interview, just openly admitted that he had conversations with Elon Musk about Bitcoin. Normally, I would do a reaction video to an interview like this, but Michael Saylor is such a smooth operator. He really explains things really well. In fact, probably better than I can. So I'm just going to let him talk. So take a listen at what he says about Bitcoin, why big institutions should get in, how it'll increase value of their shares, and he basically answered everything perfectly. Make sure you stay till the end of this video because Michael is thrown a curveball by one of the hosts. It's a question that just came out of the blue and he is not prepared to answer it.
Bitcoin near record highs, crossing 23,000 for the first time as institutional investors continue to pile in. Our next guest is a big proponent of Bitcoin. His company MicroStrategy has bought more than $1 billion worth in 2020, and the stock is climbing right alongside the crypto. Both up about 125% over the past 3 months. He even tried to convince Elon Musk to convert Tesla's balance sheet from dollars into Bitcoin in a Twitter exchange, saying Musk would be doing shareholders a favor. Joining us now to discuss MicroStrategy and its strategy on Bitcoin is the chairman and CEO, Michael Saylor. Mr. Saylor, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Happy to be here.
Let's since Elon Musk is such an interesting cat, you had an exchange with him. And he about Bitcoin, and he said, you said, yes, I purchased over 1.3 billion in Bitcoin in the past months and be happy to share my playbook with you offline. Has he followed up?
You know, I can't speak about my conversations with him, but what I can say is that Tesla, Apple, and Google all have the same problem. They're sitting on huge piles of cash and they're dissipating shareholder wealth at a rate of 15 to 20% a year times that cash. They need to turn that from a liability into an asset. And the best way to do it is convert it into Bitcoin because Bitcoin's going up more than 100% a year. Cash is debasing at 15% a year.
But people put money in cash because it is stable and presumable, even though you're quite right that cash can lose value in real terms. But Bitcoin can be a very valuable asset, a very volatile asset as well, right?
You know, it used to be, but it's looking much better by the month. Bitcoin's the world's first engineered safe haven asset, and it's running on the world's first digital monetary network. I mean, everybody in the world, every institutional investor is looking for a safe haven, and they're all losing faith in gold, and they're losing faith in sovereign debt as a safe haven. So Bitcoin is sitting at the right place at the right time. It's very appealing to anybody that wants to preserve shareholder wealth.
Hi, Michael. Rahel Solomon here. Question. So you say it's becoming less volatile, and yet I wonder, do you think that Bitcoin still has a credibility issue? And if so, how do we move past that? Or investors such as yourself move past that?
You know, if you'd asked me about Bitcoin in February, I would have said, bit what? In March, everything changed. And since March, we've had Paul Tudor Jones and Stanley Druckenmiller, and we've had Bill Miller, and we've had Rick Reeder, and we've had Guggenheim, and we've had Skybridge, we've had MicroStrategy, we've had Square. We've got an avalanche of billion-dollar entities coming into this space, and they're not here to speculate on leverage with an uncorrelated asset. They're here because they want the world's best safe haven investment-grade Treasury Reserve asset. So as the institutions buy Bitcoin, its volatility changes and the characteristics of the asset class are maturing.
I just want to come back and poke a little bit at the safe haven thought there, because it's not very long ago that this was an asset that went up to $20,000 and then it was back down at $3,000. And if you were looking for it to be a store of value, that would be a store of unvalue. I mean, so you make the argument now that because a lot of people are coming into it, the dynamics of the marketplace have changed, that it's not going to be prone to those kinds of dramatic sell-offs. Am I understanding you correctly?
Look, it's totally different investors. It's institutions, major corporations. There's no leverage. The use case is different. The use case is to buy a Treasury Reserve asset and hold it for a decade. Massachusetts Mutual, a life insurance company, is buying it. Why? You want a long duration asset. Bitcoin is engineered synthetic pharmaceutical grade gold. It's all of the benefits of gold, but you can't make any more of it. It's got none of the hangover of gold. And so it's appealing to people that want to store their money away for many, many, many years. There's nothing better.
How much money, I mean, if you mind me asking, I hate to ask rude questions. My mother told me it's not polite to ask people how much they've made. But how much have you made in Bitcoin this year as it's risen and risen and risen?
North of $500 million.
Well, that's more than I make. So let me ask you another interesting question. Do you worry at all that MicroStrategy becomes somehow known as a Bitcoin play as opposed to a play that really revolves around your business intelligence operations and what you do, business analytics and so forth? Do you risk losing the identity that has been so good to you as you move more and more of your balance sheet into Bitcoin?
You know, when companies started plugging into the internet, I don't think they worried that they would become just internet companies. I'm not worried about being the Bitcoin company. I think that the best strategy for enhancing shareholder value is to plug into the world's best first monetary network, and that's Bitcoin. You see Square doing it. You see PayPal do it. We've done it. If Bitcoin continues to appreciate at 100% plus a year, and there's no reason to think it won't as long as central banks keep printing money and as long as the technical dynamics continue, if it keeps appreciating at that rate, then Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook are all going to have to plug their products into it. And any company with large cash balances is going to have to convert their treasury into Bitcoin if they wish to stay solvent and relevant. So we just view ourselves as being early pioneers in this space. Otherwise, I think it's utterly rational and other people are following.
Fascinating.
Michael, before we let you go, we do want to ask you one final question. We do know that at least one firm is investigating your company for securities violations. Can you weigh in on that? What's your comment to that?
Yeah, I don't think that's true, actually. I think you're misinformed there, but yeah, so I have no comment.
No comment, okay.
All right, Michael,
let me just say, it's such an important issue. You might be referring to something that came out 4 or 5 months ago, but that matter's been dropped. I mean, we did get a message from the SEC sometime the September timeframe saying they weren't following up on any matter like that. So I don't think there's any matter outstanding at this point.
All right, Michael, fascinating conversation. We really appreciate your time. Thank you for being with us. Have a good holiday.
So what do you think about that last question, right? That curveball I was talking about. The host asking Michael, can you comment on this one firm that claims that you have violated security laws or you have security violations? And Michael was like, what are you talking about, right? And Michael just wanted to let it go, but you could tell he was really confused and he was trying to think, does she know something that he doesn't or something, right? But that was out of bounds in my opinion. That was just something I believe she threw out there. She possibly could have made that up just to rile him up, just to throw him off his game, right? And you could tell Michael was not pleased after being asked that question. I think the main thing is Michael did confirm that he had conversations with Elon Musk. That's huge. But everything else he said was basically perfect, right? When you're trying to explain Bitcoin to people, or if you're trying to explain why companies should get themselves involved with Bitcoin, Michael pretty much said it as perfect as you can say it. Are you excited or are you not? Or do you think this is not happening? Leave your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button. And if you are new to the channel, of course, hit that subscribe button. And stay tuned for my future videos. And while you're waiting, check out these 2 other ones.